Hello there. In this video, we're going to build the graphical user interface, which is also called the GUI, for the application using a Python module called tkinter. Tkinter is the most popular module that you use in Python to build graphical user interfaces. It comes pre-baked into Python. That means once you install Python, it also comes with tkinter, so you don't need to install the module separately. However, before you can use tkinter in your Python program, you have to import it. You can either import the entire module, or you can import what you need from that module. Sometimes you don't always know what you need, you just import everything. But if you know what you need for your experience, then import from that module only what you need. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to import what we need from the tkinter module to build the interface. To save time, what I'm going to do is pre-stage the code, add the code on, and then explain the code I've added on line by line so as to save time. So I'm just going to minimize this screen here so that I have enough room. So I'll just click on this to collapse that so that we have enough room to write our code. I have added a line of code here, line number 1. From tkinter, I'm importing the components I need, and you use the word import to get what you need from a particular module. So I'm importing tk. Tk is basically a class that is used to create the application window. So we need that. I need to create some buttons for my application. So I will need the button widget. I also need some labels for the application. So I'm importing the label as well. And the data type that's going to go into my entry widget is going to be a double var. Double var is a type of data type that includes floating point number, which I will need. So I need to import that. And the entry widget basically is where the user will enter some input. So these are all the components I need from the tkinter module. The next thing is to create the application window and add some configuration to that window. So I'm going to add those code and then I will explain the code to you. I have added some more chunk of code from line number 3 to line number 10. And I'm going to explain the code line by line. Line number 3, I created a variable called window, and I've set it to equals to tk. Tk, basically, this is a class from the tkinter module. I imported tk on line number 1, hence I'm able to use it on line number 3 to create the application container or the application window. So that stores it inside this variable called window. I've just called it window. You can call it root. You can call it anything. Doesn't really matter. Line number 4, anything I want to do inside the application window, now that it has been created on line number 3, I'll always have to reference that variable called window, which contains the application container. So I'm adding a title to the application window, and I do that using this title function. And in between the parentheses for the function is where I declare the value, which is enclosed in quotes. So the application window title is going to say feet to meter conversion app. Line number 5, I'm using the configure function on this window variable, and I'm setting a background color for the application window. Using the background property, I'm setting it to a background color of light green. So you can set it to whatever color you like. Line number 6, I am using the geometry function to set a width and a height for the application window. All right. And then on line number 7, I am preventing the users from changing the size that I have set on line number 6. And you do that by using this resizable function. So I'm saying whatever value I've set for the width, I've set it to false, which means it cannot be changed by the user. And the height I've set to false, which means it cannot be changed by the user. And then line number 10 here, we've got the main loop function, which I am calling on this window variable, which is the application window. The main loop is what runs the application. So without the main loop, all these I've created here, nothing will happen. I won't be able to see it. So the main loop runs the application until you exit the application. So I'm just going to do a file and it's save, and then we can quickly test what we have done. There are a couple of ways you can run your application. The recommended way I would recommend when you're actually building a project is to run it through the command prompt or your terminal if you're on a Mac. That way you can see any error messages that are going on if the application is trying to run. So all you need to do is just type in the name of the application here. Make sure you are in the directory that contains the application file. So I called the file ft2mt.py. So I type that in and I press enter. So this is what the application looks like. This is the title that we created, which is called feet to meter conversion app. We've got the background color, which I set to light green on line number 5. And then the window was created on line number 3. This window here, we created using TK. So I'm just going to exit that to quit that. And I'll show you the second way you can run the application. Just double click on the folder that contains the Python file. And you can just double click and that will launch the application. So this is one way of launching the application. So once you've got the application fully built and is working properly, you can run it this way. But during the process of building, I would recommend you run it through the command prompt or the terminal if you're on a Mac, so you can spot any error messages that occur and then try to fix them. So that is it for this part of the video. We will continue to build the application interface in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this programming journey. If you found this video insightful and engaging, please consider giving it a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button below. By subscribing, you'll stay updated with our latest programming courses, coding tutorials, and tech discussions. Learning and growing together is what makes our community thrive. So, don't forget to ring the bell icon to receive notifications whenever we upload new content. Your support fuels our passion for sharing knowledge and empowering aspiring developers like you. If you enjoyed this course, please share it with your friends and fellow programmers. Let's spread the love of coding and create a community of learners who inspire and uplift one another.